Hello and welcome to Sex in the News. We are the Siegel Brothers. Tonight we'll be talking about the Super Straight campaign taking over TikTok and the horrendous shootings in Atlanta this week. Some strange news tonight.
It really is.
Movement, I guess we could say, taking over TikTok.
Yeah, a movement, like in a baby's diaper kind of movement.
Well, yeah, this guy, Kyle Royce is his name, coined the phrase super straight, demanding his 15 seconds of fame, claiming it to be his sexual identity or orientation. And basically, he's just mocking LGBTQ rights and visibility and, recognition of sexual identities other than biological male and female. And, I can't help but see, maybe it's a biased view, but there is a political thread through this. It seems to be the same kind of crowds over and over, the same type, right? The alt-right or these entitled white male
Losers?
religious, always claiming victimhood.
That's really what it kind of comes down to. It's you have these people that the only moment that they take their heads out of their asses for is to cry victim.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that classic white heterosexual male victim. Right? And this super straight, which is, I'm sorry, this is a new level of nonsense. That a super straight man is only attracted to cisgendered women. And they don't even use that term,
the
cisgender.
other way, super straight women are only attracted to cisgendered men.
Right. And they wouldn't even use that term. Right? And this, hence part of my ire. They would not use the term cisgender. They would use the term real.
Right.
Sure. I'm only attracted to real women, or these are women who are only attracted to real men. And and why does this have to be a movement?
Well, he's making a statement, right? And I suppose they're to try and be fair. He's lashing out against the current PC, which we have been a time or two guilty of.
Right.
That if I guess the accusation he's perceiving is that if he's not willing to be attracted to a trans woman, he's transphobic. And I think the new PC kind of contributes to what gives rise to shit like this.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, I think you're right. And there is that sort of fascistic progressivism that does happen, that is unbelievably intolerant, that really does bully people into adopting their way of thinking. And yeah, I think you're right, that there is a reactive trigger on a lot of these guys. However, that being said, they're taking this in a whole new realm of unreality. Now, you also kind of couched this and so said that there's a political part of all of this too. And this stuff really does smack of incel.
Well, and we could slowly segue into the second story too, because I see a lot of the same thing in this shooter. I think again, like the Parkland shooter, in the midst of all of the hysteria, a lot of important things were not really acknowledged, right? So of course, everybody says 6 of the 7 victims were Asian women, so this is a hate crime against Asian people. And the shooter,
Robert Aaron Long.
Said that no, it wasn't a hate crime. It wasn't motivated by racism. It was motivated by his sex addiction.
Right.
And that the Asian massage parlors trigger him. And like this is all part of it too.
Right.
The white cop at the press conference, excusing or explaining or saying he had a bad day. Just, I don't know why it reminded me of who's that racist Senator Ron, the guy that said, if it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I would have been scared.
Right.
But I wasn't scared on January 6th because these people are true Americans. Yeah, because they're white. Yeah. I mean, there's a comical element to it, right? They adopted a super straight pride flag. These agitators.
Right. Which there's a beautiful irony attached to there as well.
It imitates Pornhub's logo, and I would assume, unbeknownst to them, also the logo of the gay dating app Grindr, same color pattern apparently.
Super straight.
And this was my favorite part of this very long article, but this quote from the response to this by Eden the doll, who said, if my existence devalues your masculinity this much, then maybe you weren't so masculine after all.
Yeah.
Right? Like last week on the news, we talked about that gay panic excuse, that someone tries to excuse their violent behavior because somebody hit on them, and that should somehow make it okay to shoot and kill someone or... Right.
And that's kind of an underlying theme in this guy in Atlanta.
Yeah, that if his rage was brought about by the existence of massage parlors triggering him
because it's a temptation for him.
It's their fault. It's not his. Just like you said, like the incels who have this violent rage against women because why won't they date them? And they can't get laid. Like, it's the women's fault they can't get laid.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe if you weren't such a loser, lunatic, women would be attracted to you.
Right. Here's a message for all you incels, by the way. Please consider, you're really making a very good point, and I think you're performing a great social service. And thank you for showing how personality can be the most effective form of birth control.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know what incel stands for, it's involuntary celibate. So guys who can't get laid blame women for their lack of...
Right. Exactly. So it's the women's fault. It's not that you're an asshole.
Right.
That has nothing to do with it. It's their fault because they don't want to sleep with you.
But all ridicule and comedy aside, these guys get increasingly angry and walk around feeling entitled.
Yes.
And angrier and explode into this kind of crazy shit violence.
Right.
And people die behind these attitudes.
Yeah. And again, what's underneath this is a lot of that self-loathing. Again, just like part of that gay panic defense, a lot of guys that have tried to use that are guys that already had sex with another man. They had sex with a guy, walked away, and then thought about what they did, felt bad about what they did, and say, well, I got to kill that person. Right? Now, okay, I get from a projection perspective, they're trying to kill that part of themselves that they're not happy with, but, I mean, come on.
You don't have to be Sigmund Freud to get a guess of what's going on psychologically in the minds of guys whose idea of a fun Saturday night is driving around looking to gay bash someone, right? There could be two guys walking home from a ball game or something. Oh, there's two men walking. They must be fags. Let's pull over and beat them with bats. Right? What exactly are they beating?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And, and that was, again, this I'm just going to say guy from Atlanta who did murder all those people. And again, it's that sort of sidestep from that gay panic defense. It was that my temptation defense. I had to kill them because I was attracted to them.
Not to go off on a big tangent or anything, but throughout history, how long have women been blamed?
Absolutely.
For arousing men?
Absolutely. Right? We go back to the witch trials.
The times when we used to have to put cloth coverings on the legs of chairs and bathtubs because unclothed legs would get guys horny.
Right.
It's guys
Yeah.
that are idiots with their own sexuality and blame everybody else in the world for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, this kind of
Aye.
brings us back to sort of one of the themes that we started this whole show with, and that is guys have to be responsible for what guys do. If we want to talk about sexual assault, if we want to talk about violence, we can't be talking to women about how they need to walk in the light, how they need to dress in brightly colored clothing, what they need to do. Take self-defense classes, carry mace, carry a whistle. How about we start with the very simple point of guys don't do it.
Right.
Right? It really doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Right? Sarah Silverman, I want to bring
Best-
that back. That was
best
such a
routine
great
ever.
bit. Guys, if you're thinking about raping a woman, don't. Why is it
Carry
any more
a whistle.
complicated than that?
That if you feel tempted to rape someone, blow the whistle
Blow the
real
whistle.
loud.
That's right.
It's, you know, in the 90s, we worked with adults who had the audacity to think that they prevented teen pregnancy.
Right.
No, teens prevent teen pregnancy.
Right.
And men prevent sexual assault.
That's right. That's right.
It's pretty basic stuff.
That's right. You can't hold the victim responsible for stopping the perpetration of the crime. You got to talk to the person who's committing the crime. Right? The bank teller doesn't prevent bank robbery. Right? The guys robbing the bank have to stop robbing the bank. Right? It's really not any different. So, you know, these two stories, both different sides of a coin of absurdity.
Yeah, and I think we really need to be aware of the common threads that connect these kind of things.
Yes.
These attitudes, these really, really dangerous sexual values and beliefs.
Right. Because it is only going to continue to get worse.
And it's a big part of what makes us one of the most sexually unhealthy countries in the industrialized world.
Exactly. And I want to repeat that quote that you ended that article with as well. Any guy that thinks that a gay man, a trans woman, women, or anybody or anything is a threat to your masculinity, you really need to check yourself and take a little pulse, take a little inward look to see what it is that you're calling your masculinity. Because obviously it's a lot more fragile and hanging by a much thinner string than you think it is. Right? If it's there at all. All right, so I think that'll do it for tonight and Sex in the News. Thank you all for joining us.
We'll see you next Sunday.
Indeed. Stay well.